welcome moms and glorified dads. We are here today because of mom's request. So Mr. Franklin started the Dads on Duty last year, and our mamas got a little jealous. So they said, what can we do for moms? How can we have a female influence in your school? So we wanted to do it a little bit different than our patrol and the security. That has been very effective. Just looking at some of our students and the recommendations from teachers and school counselors and behavior coaches, there are just a set of young ladies that require a little bit more love and care. So with that, we thought we'd have a mentorship, and we have big brothers and big sisters. Every one of our staff members, latches on to any of our students, but a lot of our students required something more for them. I think they got a little jealous too about the dads coming in, but our dads help everyone. It's not just for our young men, but undoubtedly this is why we're here today. Okay, so welcome, and welcome virtually for all of you who are joining us as well. In every classroom, at the beginning of class, we start with good things. So do any one of you have good things to share this evening? I'll give you one. So we're here, and that's a great thing. Anytime you have people from the community, regardless if they have children or school or not, to come in for that common goal to have successful students in the community and to have successful adults thereafter, any of us, I think that is a great thing. I also think it's a great thing that I'm fully staffed. Yay! With the exception of firefighting. So we have been rocking and rolling. Here we are in Q3, and I think our culture has changed. I can honestly say in the past 3 years, we are seeing a true evolution of post-COVID. And I'm not saying there's not remnants there, but I will say that things have changed significantly from having teachers who are choosing every day to be here with our students, to having parents coming on board. We're now a community partnership school as well, which is, for me as a principal, I always think about sustainability. And we have funding and we have grants that won't always be there. But our partnerships within the community, that's a 25-year commitment. Long after Miss Ray is here, the school and the community will be well taken care of. So I think that's an exceptional thing. I have asked Mr. Cotton to come, and Dean Cotton is new to our school, but he has started restorative practices, right? So I will start off with my introduction. You all can introduce yourselves, and we're going to do an activity that will help us to get to know each other a little bit more as to why you're here, okay? I'm Ms. Deborah Ray, as you know, proud principal. This is my 3rd year here as principal. Prior to here, I was in Santa Rosa County for 7 years as the ESE director of special education. But before then, I was actually here in this school as an assistant principal. So this is a part of my roots. So you never know where you're going to be placed when you interview for an administrative position. You just go in, I want to be at the high school, and you don't know until you actually speak to the superintendent as to where you land. So there was a lot of shifts that happened 3 years ago, and for me to be back in this school where I had my assistant principal roots has just been a blessing. I am an empty nester. I have one son, so he's off in college, so I really have adopted 1,800 students, 115 staff members, and they have truly become my family. So I don't say that with a biased perception. I've been all over, military brat as a child. I married a man in the military, and we have retired here, so this is it. This is home. And so I feel that my roots are here. So I am vested in this school. I think that every teacher and staff member are just as vested, and that's why they're here in this school. So that's a little bit about me. I love to shop. That's a little bit of my bad habits, which I have to keep on working. But just so you know who you're working with on a regular basis. And so if you all can introduce yourself, I will start with the young lady on my right.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Miss Ty Knight. I am one of the school counselors and the department chair, and I'm super excited to be here with y'all tonight.
Okay. I don't have to stand up with my loud mouth. My name is Stephanie Brodnax. What brought me to this program is my daughter at the beginning of the school year. She's a senior here. And she said, "Mama, don't you want to come help?" Dad said no last year. What about you?
No pressure.
I think it's because I'm a nurse and I work from home. I've been a nurse 26 years and she thinks I have nothing to do. However, that's not true. But you know what? When a child asks you to do something, apparently there's a need. So I am here. I too love to shop, although I shouldn't. But I'm here to help. I'll do what I can when I can.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Next.
I am Angela Mitchell, and I have one son, one and only son. And I am surprised that I am here because I love girls when they're with their mothers. And so when the Lord placed on my heart to mentor, I said, "Girls, are you sure? Get behind me." Yeah, okay, I'm going. So I'm here. I'm honored to have the opportunity to be a part of someone's life.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Tracy Moore, and I have 3 children. My oldest son came here to Pine Forest, and then I had a big gap, and I had 2 more children, and both of them have graduated now, so I'm here to help however you need me to. I work for Navy Federal, been there for 30 years, and I don't like to shop.
Happy for the grandbaby. Ladies in the back.
Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Lewis. I am the bookkeeper here at Pine Forest High School. I am a mother of 3, which all graduated from Pine Forest High School, 2 boys and 1 girl. And I told Miss Ray the other day, I said, "You know what? I'm going to volunteer." I want to be a part of the program, so I am here and I am delighted to be here.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis.
Hello, everyone. She know me personally, but I am Mrs. Ray's secretary. This is my first year here, and when I heard about this, I was like, I don't know if I should. And I said, why shouldn't you? You have 2 girls. So that was the reason why I decided to go ahead and stay, because a lot of kids need women figures. So I said, well, with that being said, I made a decision to go ahead and support this program, and I hope others will support it as well. But I have several people in my community that I have already said something to, but they didn't know exactly about this meeting today. So with that being said, I was going to ask Ms. Ray permission if I could make some flyers and hand them out to the people in my community.
Yes, absolutely. Please. The more PR, the better.
Hey everybody, I'm Mr. Franklin, one of the assistant principals here. I have 2 kids. This is one of them right here. Just you think I'm his big brother versus his father, but it keeps me young. I have a daughter at Bishop State that plays basketball. I'm over the discipline here, so I get to see a lot of some of the needs we have firsthand, and I can definitely tell you that our ladies definitely are one that need mentors, just because some of them can just be so mean, sometimes, and a lot of times as a man, even though I have a daughter, it still takes women to be able to teach them how to be ladies. So shout out to you guys for just coming to be a part of it. I wish initiatives like this we should be packed out, especially when you see so many people have some bad things to say about Pine Forest, and when we open up the doors as a school to help us with the many needs that we have, it says a lot about you all just coming and want to be a part of the solutions. So I wanted to thank you. Even when my dad's on duty program, we don't have a lot of men, but I can say that the about 10 that we have, they're dedicated. They come when they're supposed to be here, and now it's to the point to where I'm kind of hands off with them. You know, they kind of just know, they know the students now, they know where to go, they know where the needs are in the school. So it means a lot to be able to have dedicated people to take time out of your busy schedules, time out of your life to understand what our needs are here at school. And you'll be surprised at the difference that it'll make. So I just want to say thank you again for just coming to be a part of it.
Hello. Hello. My name's Peter Cotton. I'm the new dean here. Honestly, I feel really blessed to be here. I just moved back. I grew up here until I was 13. Went away in the military, went around the world basically, and got hired by these two incredible people basically. So I remember my interview. It was a little scary because they're both really powerful people, but they're both innovative. They both care about the kids in this community. So I feel blessed. Kind of backtrack a little bit. Like, you probably don't remember me basically, but when I first got here, my dad's dying, and that's why I moved back to take care of him. But I was a Navy Federal basically, and like there was a lot of stuff going on, and I was trying to figure things out. And you were the first person that made me at the door, basically. You talked to me, so I just feel, you know, again, I'm gonna say that, you know, God puts us in full swing. So I'm really grateful that you're here, and what a small world this is.
It is very.
For me, basically, I have a daughter. She's 19 years old, basically, and I went through a lot with her. I have a 22-year-old boy. He was easy. My daughter wasn't, basically, but she's in college now. She's doing really well. So I'm just really here to support our school. This incredible principal, and I'm still really blessed and grateful to be here.
Wow, I could almost cheer up from that just union right there. I think we know that we're all here for purpose, and I feel very confident in everyone's presence here today. We started a new thing actually with the giftedness that Dean Cotton brought with the restorative circle activity. So I just think it's important that when students, or even with our faculty, you know, if something happens where there's contention, I think that restorative justice and that practice allows us to have that fresh start. So Dean Cotton has done tremendous. I wish I could go to every single one of them. But the first one that he did, we were all just looking. We were just wanting to see how the students were going to respond to it. So bringing them into a group, having them share as to why they may have made the choices, what do they learn from them, what can we do to improve, and also have that reintroduction into their classroom so that their teachers can see them in a different light, so that we're not holding grudges, and so that they can move forward in everything that they have to do without having that that feeling of just angst, or, you know, are they going to hold this against me? They need to know that that has been restored and that we can continue to support each other. So that has been amazing. Recently, he did it with our cheerleaders, right? All of those ladies together, just having some differences. And we had a death that happened last year. And who knew that as adults, I think we suppress all of those things and those losses because we know what we need to do so that we can continue to work and to thrive. But our babies don't know how to do that. So it wasn't until that instance that I realized, wow, we still have some work to do with those babies. They still hold that in their hearts. Like that survivor's remorse, that they still felt like, how are they able to still cheer and go on? Because they were quitting. I couldn't understand why they were quitting. I was actually getting angry. It's like, you can't quit when things get hard. But when that came out, I was like, wow, that is why. Like, they feel sad. They feel regret, remorse. I shouldn't be cheering if she's not here. So that's huge. And that taught me that there's so much more going on with our babies that we need to just stop, take a breath, and ask what's happening. People don't want to make bad choices. You know, they don't want to be that person. They can't hear me? Okay. Oh, okay. The mic is for the camera. I'm going to see if they can hear me now. Turn it up. I think it's on this one. It's all the way up. All right, we'll go on. But having that conversation with them, and then we also talk to our teachers, like no one wants to make those bad choices. You know, let's ask them, why are you sleeping? Why are you arguing with me? A lot of it is avoidance. A lot of them, the work is too hard, they want to show out, there's an escape. So this is our practice to dig a little bit deeper to see what's going on with our students. Mr. Cotton, you got the floor.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm stepping in this room, so I apologize. Thank you very much. So, with the restorative practices piece, basically, like my job is really like look at what's going on in here, each side. For our kids, what I'm seeing basically is like this generation of kids always want to be right, and I can say that because I have a daughter, and I understand that still at this time. But sometimes we as adults ourselves feel that we are older, we know everything basically, so it's our job just like to make sure they are respectful. But sometimes our kids are not respectful. We understand that. So sometimes my job is kind of pull, the staff and the student together and to say, hey, here are the rules. We need to sit down. We need to talk. You have your turn. You got a minute to talk. You have a minute to talk. Let's talk. I want to say 98% of the time I've done it this year, it's been incredible. And we moved forward. But it's those conversations, those restorative practices. Like Ms. Ray said it perfectly, basically. It's like, something happened. Here's my part. I'll own up to it, basically. I just want to move forward. I don't want to take care of this. And it is what it is. So what I was thinking about was you, our mentors, and why are you here? So one thing that I talked to Ms. Ray about, like this not too long ago, basically, is that what I see as a male working with females here is we have some strong young ladies here. Strong. But sometimes I think they're so strong they don't understand, basically, they got to kind of step back a little bit and got to listen. And not realize, basically, that those walls that they put up, basically, not everybody's trying to hurt them. We're trying to help them. And one thing about me, basically, I came from the military. I'm a little strict guy, right? I'm straightforward. But I've been able to kind of get over those walls in the last month, and that's been great. So one question I'm going to ask you right now is, walls up, how do we tear them down? So I want you to think about that, why Ms. Ty Knight is going to read this article to you. Walls up, how do we tear those walls down? Like, you as individuals, that are coming in, basically, how do we tear those walls down for people that have been hurt sometimes abused, sometimes don't have, like, other people in their lives, right? Sometimes people in their lives, basically, are not where they need to be. Not because they don't want to be, basically, just maybe they don't have the tools to be there. So think about that. Walls up, how do we tear them down? How do I tear them down? How do you tear them down? All right, let me give you this. I'm sorry. An article should be in your package. It says, what motivates you being a mentor? What's in it for you by Andreas Burr.
I was recently asked this question by one of my former mentees who is currently setting up a cross-company and cross-industry mentorship program. My initial answer came intuitive, but this question kept on circulating in my head. I believe good mentors are passionate about helping and developing their mentees and receive their rewards, not in the form of money or other paybacks, but in seeing the people they have helped grow and become successful. From time to time, we are trapped in our own comfort zone, privately as well as at work, because life here is easier and more comfortable. But to grow, you'll need to step outside of your comfort zone to be able to have new experiences and learning curves. And this is exactly where a good mentor could be helpful, holding up a mirror to you, identifying your comfort zone, which most of us are not aware of or ignoring it, supporting you in self-reflection, and then jointly developing a plan how to step out of the comfort zone, embrace the new challenge, and hunt for the bigger goal. One of the most important aspects of mentoring is accountability. Whenever a mentee has goals to achieve, their mentor helps them focus and stay on the path. A good mentor should already have been where the mentee still wants to go. A kind of blueprint and own experiences is what a mentor provides his mentee to help guide him towards his specific goal. And a lot of trust on both sides is required to share experiences and feelings. So the motivation for mentoring and what you get out of it might be similar for the mentee as well as for the mentor. Become a better leader and gain new perspectives and fresh ideas. Mentoring is a unique opportunity to step outside your normal circle of colleagues and to learn how to collaborate with people to whom you don't have a natural connection, demonstrating patience with those who need your guidance or support in helping people find the best path forward. I am a mentor by heart, a lifelong learner and eager to be part of shaping tomorrow's leaders.
So what the article said and read, by the way, thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that. All right. I asked 3 guiding questions, and I always ask these questions every time we read something or talk about something. One is, think about what resonated with you in that article. Number 2, think about this, because this is a big one. As a child or young adult, what values, morals, and love did you receive from your mentor? Because we all had them. All right, and number 3, why me? Why am I here? What can I give? What was placed on your heart to bring you here today? So I want you to take a minute to think about that, and then we can go, like Ms. Ray did, and go around the circle and have that conversation with each other. So when I was a teacher for a long time, I used to say, when you're done, touch your nose. All right, touch your nose, let me know you're done. Yeah, we got some pens. Yeah. Okay. I don't see anybody touching their nose, ladies. What's up? All right. All right, it's all good. It's all good. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna start with the boss lady, because we're going around the room. Actually, no, I'm gonna start with Ms. Knight because she's there first. Ms. Knight, your turn, man. So answer those 3 questions.
Okay.
All right.
What resonated with you in this article? What resonated with me was remembering my mentor growing up. I grew around my mother and her sorority sisters, and I remember seeing them grow as a teenager. And it made me realize, where I'm at and where I want to be at. I'm still working on it, but it still is with me and makes me want to continue to grow in behalf of the women that have been in my life. As a child or a young adult, what values, morals, and love did you receive from a mentor? Same things. They were, when I was doing good, they were with me, and when I was doing bad, they corrected me, as they should have. And I think that was one of the things that I like to do with the students here. It's like, we're gonna cheer you on, but when we need to get you back on the right path, we gonna lead you back there. And then, why me? Why am I here today? I enjoy mentoring our younger girls. With my sorority, we have our debutantes, our charmettes, and our emerging young leaders. And just being able to be around them and help them mature and reach their goals, especially as in my career as a school counselor. I think that is why I was like, Mrs. Ray, I got you. Like, let's go. So those are my answers.
Thank you. That's awesome. Ms. Ray, your turn, man.
All right, thank you. What resonated with me in the article was just the part that when it spoke about being trapped in your own comfort zone and kind of becoming complacent, whether it's work or at home. And just, to me, I felt like not complacent, because goodness, I have so much to do on a regular basis, but some of those things just come very natural, like the work, and you have to keep so many things separate and almost robotic. And so the students, and I noticed that when they come to my office, like, wow, I've never been here. And I said, well, you can come anytime. But they only think of my office as, like, you go to Miss Ray's office if you're in trouble. And typically, it's just the opposite. They come to my office when they're not in trouble because I have so many amazing staff members that they can do that with. But it was last year when we had those restrictions on graduation. And I had so many conversations with students in the final hour of getting into graduate, but I was holding very stern that they weren't walking. And so I almost became like a monster in a sense, where now they get it. Like, she really wanted us to have a diploma, like it meant something. But I remember some of them saying, I'm going to walk and I'll show you. I'm like, good baby. But that's how I want our relationships to be. Like, we are here for them, not against them. And I think that defense mechanism, I would like for me to help influence take that down, but still holding that standard. So to me, I don't want to be in my own comfort zone. This is going to be uncomfortable because much like you, I've only had a son, but my mother told me I was horrible as a teenager. I do not believe her. But now I probably was in some of the interactions with the ladies that I have. I'm like, man. And I have already adopted a couple of ladies that I have been recommending. I'm like, those are going to be like my girls, because like I'm not getting through with them with like the stern. They need to see that I care in a different way. So I think that would be great. As a young adult, we were a military family, so I didn't have a lot of instant community connections. My teachers were really my mentors. And I never thought I was going to be a teacher. And I actually taught for 14 years before I went into administration because I just loved teaching. But I had a teacher, Miss J, and she's still like my Facebook buddy. But she was so strict. I mean, she dressed nice. She was our cheer coach. And she kicked me out of her room I don't know how many times. But she loved me and she was strict. And still to this day, she's like, I can't believe you're a principal. Like, you fought me. I was like, I know, but look what she did. She influenced my life. So I think mentorship just means an invaluable way to touch the lives of our kids. And that's it. Why me? Why am I here today? I know that I'm here for a purpose. And I think that this is going to really show me why I'm placed here to touch lives in a different way.
So, because I don't know you, I just wanted to make sure you told me your name again.
Yes,
so I can remember.
Stephanie.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So what resonated with me in this article is the portion that talked about, building that trust between a mentor and a mentee. I think that's really important because I think that in doing that, that wall may come down as you get to know someone, as they get to know you a little bit, and then that brings the wall down. We all know, we all as adults have walls up anyway, just because life has happened so far. So I can only imagine that life is happening a little bit faster for some of our girls around here than maybe it was back when I was a girl here, and I'm also a Pine Forest graduate.
Agreed.
And so, I think that portion resonated with me. As a child or young adult, my parents worked 2 jobs until I graduated from college. So I didn't have a lot of extracurricular activities because they didn't have time to come pick me up. And so we didn't do them. So my parents, they were my biggest fan. My mom, she supported anything I did as long as it didn't involve an extracurricular activity. She's like, you can actually be anything you want to be. I'll support you on that. So I found my support in the teachers here. I was a peer counselor here at this school. And I didn't really know when I got to this school that there was a peer counseling program, and this is how things come full circle. But my middle school art teacher, her husband was over the peer counselors here, and I lost a book or something in the Lost and Found. The bookstore was out there one day, and I went over and told him my name, and he said, my wife told me to find you. You're going to be a peer counselor. And that's how things come full circle. I had no idea. I didn't talk as much as I do now back in school. I was like, my mom said I was a really good girl, unlike the one girl I got here necessarily isn't as good as I was. But I do have an older daughter that graduated from here that I'm not as good as she was either. So I'm somewhere in between. So it's, things come full circle. And I think that, my mom instilled in me just, be dependable, be trustworthy, be of your word. And that's something that I try and instill in people that I get to know or people that depend on me. And so I'm thinking, why me in this mentorship program? Those values have been instilled in me. And my daughter, as wild as she can be sometimes and as mean as she can be, thought I was useful here. So I must have done something, something that she caught wind of, because she's also a mean girl. When you said that, I was like, yeah, they can be so mean and so just angry for no apparent reason. And being the mom of 2 girls, I'm probably exactly where I should be, for sure. So,
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
My next meeting, man.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Angela.
Thank you very much, Ms. Angela.
What resonated with me, I'm underscore with Miss Ray. I have a cousin named Grace. I think I remember that. But Miss Ray said, this comfort zone. I mentioned I have one son, and I prayed to sweet holy Jesus for a boy. I have a younger sister, and I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to do that. I'm not gonna be able to do what she did. So in all that, it got me in my comfort zone with where I was in life. I was like, Lord, I'm good. I'm good. He's like, no, I need you over here. But get out of my comfort zone. And I think I really didn't have any mentors growing up. And that's why, another part of the reason why I'm here. Because my first manager allowed me to have a space that I was judgment free. I was able to be transparent, and she was forthcoming in a place of vulnerability and honesty. And those things really impacted me. I went from being a shy, quiet young lady to I'm just talking and just sharing life. And I think too, a lot of our young people would benefit from skills. A lot of times we look at it as behavior, or we look at it as this, that, and the third. I think it's just a simple skill. Even something as elementary as this, I was on the phone with someone the other day, and I said, please share with me what I don't know to ask you to get this problem solved. And the whole atmosphere between us just changed, and it just was like a thunder of information just came out, and it really moved me forward. So just giving them the skills to understand simple things and simple statements to make. So just skills.
That's powerful.
Yeah, just skills.
Yes, ma'am. The lady that saved my dad's life. I appreciate it. All right, what is your name again? I'm sorry.
Tracy.
Sorry, before we leave, you're going to give me a hug. Is that okay?
Okay. I'm trying to remember you. And I can't. That's awful. But you remember me.
I do. I remember good people.
Thank you. Okay, so helping someone reach their goals was probably one of the things that resonated with me. Why we're mentors. And of course, stepping out of our comfort zone. I think all of us have said that so far. And when I think back to my mentors when I was younger, my mentors, like yours, were my teachers. And I just remember them saying, you're going to get out of something what you put into it. So hard work gets results. And that's what I have there. And why am I here? I've always been a person that feels like I'm the one that's going to step up and volunteer to help. And I've always been that way. So when Miss Ray, when she said that, I think I told you, as soon as these kids get done, I'm going to come help you. And my last one graduated last year, and she said, I found something for you. So here I am. That's why I'm here.
So before these two ladies start, I want to say that these two ladies I love, just because I see them every day, basically, but they both educate me very well. We're blessed to have them here. I talk to Ms. Washington like every day because I always mess my time sheet up. And Ms. Lewis is I want to say a ball of motivation. So please tell us why you're here, ladies.
Got me in the article was, I believe everybody picked that. From time to time, we are trapped in our own comfort zone, privately as well as work, because life is easier and more comfortable. But to grow, you need to step out of your comfort zone to be able to have new experience and learning curves. My face is new here, but I've been here 8 years, and I have been a secretary since I've been here. But before I got here, I was also the superintendent secretary back home. I have been doing secretarial work from the time I got out of high school.
Wow.
that's just something that, you know, I love doing. So I had stepped out of my comfort zone. My parents sent me to school for phlebotomy.
Oh, wow.
I know how to drop blood. I know how to do all of that. But my passion was school. And so I still have my certifications in phlebotomy. I renew them every year. But I didn't want my parents to think to waste money. But anyway, education has always been my thing. And it says, as a child, I always, you know, give others the benefit of the doubt. You don't know what might be going on with them in their life or in their families or even on the outside of their homes, you know. You have to be positive minded whenever not just girls,
Right.
anybody come to you. You have to be positive minded. You have to think around that box a little bit whenever, you know, people come to you for certain things. And one thing that I always told a lot of my girls at home, you gotta right your wrong. You know, sometimes you just have to put them big girl pants on and say, hey, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, you know, and just keep on going with your life. And I said earlier, why me? Why am I here today? I said, why not me? Because I have 2 girls that I raised by myself. And the oldest one, she is in the Air Force. She is a staff sergeant over there in England. And then my other one, she kind of followed behind me a little bit. So now she is in education. And they used to get jealous back home because a lot of the girls will come to me. When I say a lot of the girls will come to me, my superintendent told me many times, you miss your calling. I said, what's my calling? I said, everybody tell me what my calling is. Guidance counselor or principal. I said, I don't want to be nobody principal. I done been secretary to a whole lot of principals. I do not want to be a principal. I don't want to be a vice principal. I don't want to be a dean. I don't want to be none of that. But I can say that a lot of girls confide in me. And I don't know why, but a lot of them do. And it had got to the point where they were coming to my office so much to where I had to escort them to the guidance counselor. I said, y'all, I can't do this. I can talk to you, but when you have an issue or a problem that needs to be discussed and taken care of, I'm gonna have to take you to the guidance counselor. Today, I kind of got out a little more than I usually do because I constantly working. So as I was walking around, I had like 9 kids just boom rushing up to me. Hey, Miss Washington, what are you doing here? You got a daughter that would go to this school? I said, no. I said, I'm Miss Ray's secretary. I'm mad with you. I'm mad with you. I said, what you mad with me for? I said, hardly ever come on the outside. But you need to start coming out more. But we need somebody to talk to. So today that kind of made me feel even better and made me really say, hey, go ahead and do this, because that was my that's what I said was my confirmation when all of those girls come running up to me. And I told them that don't mean go they wearing Miss Brown to come back there to see me, because I had like 3 that did actually see me and was wearing Miss Brown to death. I said, tell them I'm doing payroll. I'm going my lunch.
Right.
I'm busy right now. So I said I was gonna make it my business to try to come from behind those doors and actually walk around, because today let me see that there was a lot of girls that I talked to actually listened.
All right, talking about stepping out of comfort zone. Usually I am the one that kind of helps and gives, being a bookkeeper, you know, telling people which way to go. But what resonated to me really was helping and developing trust within the article. And that's something that we all need to learn how to do with not with students, with, you know, everyone. So that kind of helped me in helping to grow, to help them grow and to become successful. I know that I have a daughter that is I'm very proud of, and she's a go-getter. She is a truly go-getter. And with the age that she's 32, she did a lot of mentoring, a lot of helping some of the students, even from Pine Forest, with tutoring and stuff, and that made me look. And I even talked with her about as far as becoming a mentor after I told Ms. Ray, I'm gonna help. So it really, we were talking, and it kind of helped me to make a decision, a true decision, as far as with helping becoming a mentor here, because she was like, Mom, you need to step out your comfort zone. You need to do this. You need to do that. You just go to church. That's good, but you need to do something else. So this will be something else that I can do as far as helping young ladies. And just as Mr. Franklin was saying, our young ladies need help too, as well as the young men's here. And as far as with the values and everything, I look at to where, I had, my grandmother, they help with values. And as far as with, just even some of the people in church, not just with me, with my children and stuff, with my daughter and so forth. So I'm here today as far as to encourage, to help them through their everyday life struggles, to listen, to help them be successful in anything that they want to be.
Boss man.
I think the part that resonated to me was the second paragraph. It says, I believe good mentors are passionate about helping and developing their mentees and receive their rewards out in the form of money or other paybacks, but in seeing the people they have helped grow and become successful. And that paragraph alone to me is a testimony. I didn't really have a mentor growing up myself. And it is difficult when you don't have a person that gives you that guidance that you need sometimes in your life. And you have to figure out some things on your own. My mom was great, but sometimes you just need that outside person, sometimes just to provide different insights. And that's what I've always had, a heart and a passion for that. Even in my 21 years of education, I see so many students. I think Ms. Meadows had to remind me a few times of, I'm just big on exposure. And I feel like our students need so much more exposure, because exposure leads you to seeing a bigger picture. And a lot of these students need to see a bigger picture outside of Pensacola. So when you give them that exposure to things, like I've taken kids to FAMU, taking kids to New Orleans to professional basketball games, took a whole class one time to Disney World when I was a fourth grade teacher. So doing those things put me in that, it put me outside of just educating and saw a bigger picture besides just being an educator. Like, exposure is everything. And when you expose and when you have these conversations, and the rewarding part, when I reflect back on what this article says, it's really about seeing those young men and women actually become successful one day. And success doesn't have to be, it's bigger than just a piece of paper or a degree. Success can be that kid. Like the other day, we had a student last year by the name of William, and William now works for ECUA. So to actually see him work for ECUA and get a job when so many other people had his life going in a different direction, and instilling all the positive words into him. And when he made that post one day about getting a job, like, it made my heart. And he inboxed me, he was like, Mr. Franklin, I got a job. And he was so proud of that. And he wanted to be that person that was the football player and wanted to get the scholarship, but life didn't take him that direction. Life put him in another direction to where, he's working now. He has a son, so he has to be able to take care of that son. So he understood what priorities were. And I talked to him about fatherhood. And that's the other thing about being a part of a mentor. We have to mold people, and students especially, look up to. You have to walk that walk sometimes too. So I love when my students see me, when I have my son with me, and the other young men that have kids can see that. So if Mr. Franklin does this and he's able to balance that life and showing me how to be a father in different ways, and they see that and I'm showing that and displaying that, it makes them want to be the same way as well too. So mentorship just goes beyond, for me, that's went out just beyond the classroom, beyond what all these books in here say. It's just sometimes you have to just step outside that box and expose kids to life, expose kids to opportunities. And I think we do a great job of that here. I mean, last year we had students that went to FSU and FAMU. So that's all a part of just being a great mentor. Even students as small as the trip we had this year going to UWF. so many students from that had an opportunity, and you'll be surprised. Like, I think we take for granted so many times that we've all exposed to that just because we may have been, but a lot of these students aren't exposed to those things. So when you can expose them, that's a form of mentorship, because you're exposing them to things that they never had an opportunity to do. And that's my passion.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'm going to end this with this. First of all, welcome, and thank you for being here. We are really blessed to have you here. I was in church last Sunday, and I heard our preacher say this quote: God is going to give you rocks. And with those rocks, basically, what are you going to do with it? He's giving you a way to move those rocks, but they're not going to be able to move by themselves. He's giving you the will. You got to figure out the way. God bless you guys, and thank you for being here tonight. All right. Thank you. Awesome. Back to the boss lady. There you go, man.
Exchange. Now everyone can hear us. So, thank you everyone for sharing your stories. Sometimes that's even uncomfortable, talking about being uncomfortable and why you're here. But I think it's all going to come into full circle. If I hold this, it'll be okay. Our mission and purpose, and I actually heard a dad when I joined Mr. Franklin's Dads on Duty. He was a single dad, and he had a daughter, and that comes here, and he said, I need something for my girl. I'll never forget that. So I think everyone has a reason to have a female or male in their lives. So now we're going to come into full circle and have mentorships for both sides. That's amazing. What I wanted this mentorship to be is to aim and provide guidance and support and inspiration for young ladies and helping them to navigate the academic, personal, and career challenges. And we're seeking women with relevant experience. You all have shared all of your experiences. And I know that we're going to have a vast variety. So each one of those mentees can connect, can see themselves in what you're doing. So I think that's going to really be successful. We need them to assist in setting and achieving their goals. Some of them don't see themselves past next week, so we need them to see their futures. That's what this program is going to be about. And also just to move off of campus, having that positive impact and building that confidence and empowering them. And I think that's why we see that struggle if they get into altercations, whether it's verbal or physical. That helps them to feel empowered. We need to show them an alternate way of doing them so they can see themselves positively placed in this world. Okay, I want you all to see this video, and I know that we took so much time with our initial kind of icebreaker, but I almost forgot about this beauty queen until lately, and she just speaks to how, like, if you give up, that's how your regrets start. So let's hear from her.
Now more is less with Cox Internet and Cox Mobile. From fiber-powered internet at home
Life always brings me back to Denzel. I did not do this on purpose. But we'll come back to something. I'll find her later. I really wanted her to see that. And I will actually show that to our young ladies so that they can see how she started. But she definitely speaks to her being in the military. And she was like in a coffee shop. And some woman said, you need to be in pageants. And she thought, I don't need to be in a pageant. Why am I'm a soldier. Like, that's who I am. And so I think it took her something like 6 years to actually, because you have to win in your state, to move forward. And it took her 6 years to actually get to that point. But on her 5th year trying, the young lady that she met in the coffee shop had passed away. She had cancer. And then that next time she tried, she actually won. So she won from her state and went on to be, Miss USA. So she really told of all of the times that she was faced with a no. And how many times are we going to be met with no, from interviews to relationships, and how you just can't give up. So that was really her story, and I didn't know that about her, like how many times that she has tried to be successful and was turned down numerous times. So I think our girls need to see that, and all of our students actually. And I think we have so many conversations about quitting. Like, it's so easy to quit, but how much harder and how much more rewarding is it to just keep hanging on? We have those conversations, I know, more than once a day. This is a little bit about our data, and I don't want to go through all of it, but I have highlighted the female, and it's not as high as the males, but it is a little bit high with some of our incidents as far as office discipline referrals that you can see. And it's just highlighting there of how many female students we have compared to males, so that you can see that we were high. This was at the end of year report from last school year. And looking at the number of students with at least one office referral, you see students there with about 149. When you think about how many students we have, over 1,800, that's really not a lot. But when you count up those office discipline referrals and how one of those can turn into an out of school, and how many students with out of schools suspensions, that takes students out of the classroom. And undoubtedly, when that happens, it's hard for them to catch up. So then you see them falling behind, and then you see that avoidance, you see them giving up. Well, I'm already out, so why should I try? I've been out for 5 absences, why not 10? And now we're really tracking that attendance. But when students are here and they're actually in the classroom, we know that they're going to get a lot more out of it than not. But we notice these data points, and we're honestly just sick of it, right? Every time someone fights, whether it's male or female, we're like, why are y'all fighting? Honestly, when you have them in a room by themselves, separate from the person that they fought with, they cannot define it. They can't. It was like, in that moment, that's how I felt. And they always have that regret and remorse. But there's so much now with social media that none of us had to deal with. We had our own pressure, but now for the world to see, and how you have to save face, and you don't want anyone to think you're a punk. No one wants to turn around and not fight. They feel like they have to. And a lot of our students are in that fight or flight mode. They don't know how to get out of it. I can say my very first day as principal, I had to announce when LD was killed. That was my first day as principal. And I didn't even know who that baby was. And to hear his story and how many hearts he had touched, to have to deliver that kind of news on your first day as a principal. But we have been working ever since just to continue to make connections. And the coaches that cried, and the family that cried, and our counselors, and to see all that love in a room for that one baby who had influenced so many lives. I know that mama is proud that even though she lost her child, how much of an influence that student was. So once you are in education and you are dedicated, you want to continue to save lives and not lose them. And I think empowering our young ladies to see themselves in a job, in a profession, to know that they can go to school. I know that Mr. Franklin mentioned we went to UWF. I would say probably more than half of those students had never been on that campus. And we were in the science building, and they talked about UWF having property at the beach. How many of you have gone to the beach? More than half of them haven't raised their hands, and they've lived here all of their lives. We just take those opportunities for granted. And then I have some tech students who went. I've shared this story, I know 3 times, but I'm so excited about it, who went to UWF. And last week, they're like, Miss Ray, we went to UWF, but we want to go to the MIT building. I'm like, in Boston? Like, you've never been to UWF, but now you want to go to Boston. I was like, it's opening their eyes to possibilities. And I think that's super cool. So the benefits and rewards, and we are going to impact impact them in all of these ways, undoubtedly. But giving them the support and guidance from the female influences, and so that they can receive personalized advice. And I think when you start your mentorship, you're going to hear a lot of things. So we'll have some different training about reporting, and that shouldn't be your burden to carry. And that's why we have so many community supporters here. We have a clinic here. We have guidance. We have a mental health counselor. And so that's when you be like handing those things over. But when you receive that information, that means they trust you. And I know when our kids, we get to the core, like they're yours for life. You're going to hear some things, and that's when we will be there for you to help guide you to where you need to take them to get those things answered. The networking. I think having those opportunities to be with you all in your place of employment, that would be nice to have those job shadowing or just your connections that you may already have in the community. You know, we'll go through some resume writing. A lot of the girls said, I want to learn how to do some etiquettes. I was like, okay, we're going to have a tea party. You know, for them to want those things, like this is an opportunity for them to get some different experiences. The skill development, to develop skills like leadership, communication, problem solving. Definitely room for professional growth, but problem solving, when you have those conversations, like how could you have handled that differently? Tell me about it. Building communication skills and interview skills. We interviewed some students over the summer just for office positions, and they could not answer questions. It was like a lot of pressure. These are our top students, 3.0 and above, had difficulty interviewing. When you think about all the time they're on their phones and they're texting, they're not talking to each other, they're writing and not like full sentences. So we talk to our teachers to extend that writing and speaking into the classroom. So we have not failed them, like they can actually have an interview. We've given them academic skills, but it's the speaking that was very uncomfortable for them. A confidence boost. Having those conversations about how do they feel. And I think that when it's that fight or flight, they may not feel good about themselves, but they're strong. If I had a boxing class, they can make an A. Role models, giving them different influences in the community and role models and exposure. I think all of our students have found a teacher or two that they feel that they can talk to. This just gives them another community outlet with some stakeholders they would not have been exposed to. Career advancement. Miss Knight worked some magic, and we already had our first college and career. We had jobs there, and they had an opportunity to speak to different employers and talk about resumes and talking about connections with jobs right after school. So that's something that they will learn through this process, that emotional support that's not biased. Like, I know I have some of the same conversations with my own child, but let somebody else tell him the same thing. I'm like, I just told you that. But it doesn't have as much value as someone who doesn't know you. Like, mama's supposed to tell you you're handsome, right? So I think that's going to be helpful to have some outside influences, giving them some good advice. Diversity and inclusion. I think it gives them some exposure to some different cultures, experiences that they may not have normally had. And also some personal growth. And last but not least, long-lasting relationships. And I talk to our new teachers every year that as a new teacher, you don't think you're going to make it. And you're going to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And I remember having those conversations with myself. I'm like, I'm not going to be in education. Here it is, almost 35 years. But I always had a student to come back and say, Miss Ray, do you remember when? And it's always at that time where I needed that like affirmation. Why am I doing this? Like, that's why, because they remember you. And you may not remember all of their names. I swear they're all baby. Hey, baby. But even in the store, like, they have made that connection. That's long living and lasting relationship. So those are your benefits. Some of the activities, and I'm certainly open to, your ideas as well. But we'll start off with the pairing. So we have right now about 20 to 25 young ladies that's been given to us. We're going to have another conversation with them before pairing. So I have some index cards. So if you all can let us know like your availability, whether it's in the daytime, if you want to have a weekend time, like how you would like to dedicate your time. If it's during the school day, I could find a period that would be, accommodating to your schedules. So if you could share that information so we can have that first match. And then I would like us to have a session with all of us together. I think it would be beneficial for them to have some organizational and study skills and have that goal setting workshop. So after we pair, we'll have a goal setting workshop with them where they can also have an opportunity to discuss their career goals and their plans, whether they want to work, go to college, or both. We need to know that pretty early on so that you all can start having those conversations and bridging them with their goals and post-secondary aspirations. I'd like for us to have a meditation and relaxation strategies time where we have someone come in and teach them that. Like, what can you do as opposed to verbally attack or to quick to impulsively respond? Can you take a breath? Can you relax? I actually have that on my app. Every morning it tells me an affirmation. I live by it actually, probably more than once a day. There is a book called My Selfie Needs No Filter, and I know they have a ton of things to read. I think that would be a really good book for us to do a book study. I will purchase them. I'll create the modules for that, just good conversational pieces as to like self-esteem. It's a really good read. Community service projects, right now we're getting ready to hit the holidays pretty hard. We can definitely do something like that to volunteer. I would like us to get on board with like feeding the homeless. If they could see people who are less fortunate, maybe they'll feel blessed and valued and a little bit more fortunate. And of course, that career exploration time where we can pick a business. I know Navy Federal is huge, and us and a proponent already a supporter in us doing things like that. But there's so many different areas within Navy Federal that may pique their interest. Or maybe in the hospital field, there's so many different fields and opportunities. They wouldn't have to be a doctor. They wouldn't necessarily have to be a nurse. Like, there's so many other places that they can explore. An Artful Expressions Day. Our students are so artistic. How can we spend the day with them? Like, have our own painting with a twist moment. We have some very ambitious artists here who work here that would be more than willing to help us through that. A lot of them write beautiful poetry. So when they feel comfortable in sharing their ideas and situations, they may write us a poem, or we can share that together. Field trips, visit to colleges, workplaces, and different organizations. There is a ropes course that I've been exploring. I probably have to get some permission from risk management where look at her, she's like, I'm not falling from the sky. But so that you can learn how to trust other people than yourselves, having some codependence with people that you're getting to know, and to let yourself a little bit more vulnerable in this trusting activity. And the tea party, I don't know if any of you have been to the Old English Creamery in Pensacola. It is super cute. We can get hats and have tea, but I thought we could apply our etiquette training to that and have them practice with forks and spoons. And I have been to a couple of banquets with students, and when they passed the bread, they like grabbed it out of the basket, and we were like, no. It was like slow motion. I was like, we got to do that differently. So just showing them to be more comfortable, that helps them to get out of that comfort zone, to want to be in public, for them to be more social. I know that my son was in the ROTC, and they always had to practice their etiquettes. He had to show his date the etiquettes, and it was like this huge thing because we don't do that on a regular basis. And some of our students don't even eat with their families. They eat by themselves, have work in families. So, that's a little bit more formal than what they're used to, but, they may have those experiences afterwards. And then I would like for them to write a paper about their overall experience, and we would tie it to a contest. And then last but not least, I want us to have a MVP Appreciation Day where we will celebrate our mentors and welcome them back for the next year. This just talks about ways that we can communicate with our girls and things that we can do to build that bridge and that relationship. active listening, to pay close attention when they speak. We're all grown and we're wise, but sometimes we just need to stop and listen to what they're trying to say. Like, I'm a problem solver, so a lot of times I'm having those conversations. I want to jump right to the solution, but they need to have that like productive struggle, and we allow them to fully tell us what's going on. Ask permission, like, do you want me to help you through this, or do you want me to just listen? Sometimes they just want you to listen. Respecting their opinions, and even if you disagree, respect their viewpoints. And being able to tell them that it's okay that we have different viewpoints, but be respectful of them. Being able to empathize, understand their emotions, and be empathetic to their experiences. Everything to them is real. We know that it's going to get better. They don't always understand that it will get better. So having that time to empathize and really understanding, like the shoes that they're currently wearing. Having some open-mindedness, like, this is really going to help me. Like, this is just really for me. No. Being open to different perspectives, different learning environments, different home environments, being receptive to where they're coming from, asking open-ended questions so you don't get that yes, no kind of response. We're teaching our teachers to do the same thing so we can have that elaborative responses, and to be patient. Teenagers may take their time to express or to make decisions, or you may feel like you're not making a connection right away. Our kids are hard, right? They're used to people not committing. They're used to people leaving. Last year, when we had so much turnaround with teachers coming and going, like if a teacher was sick for like 2 days, they'd be like, are they coming back? Like, they're used to being abandoned. So it's going to take some time to get to know them, but once they're yours, they're yours. Avoiding judgment, passing judgment on their choices, some of their actions. Like, you're going to feel that you're making so many strides, and they may make a poor choice. You know, maybe they do get suspended, and you would feel like defeated, right? Oh, I'm not helping. What I'm doing is not working. Like, that restorative, like, let them come back. You know, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take a lot of conversations, a lot of interactions to get to the place where you want to be ultimately. Using those positive reinforcement. We are a PBIS school, positive behavior, intervention, and support. These kids are used to being punished, right? How can we recognize little gains? Maybe they made a 50, next week they make a 60. Like, that's positive. Like, reinforce every win, because a win is a win is a win. Be approachable, right? You know, let your hair down a little bit, get on their level. You know, be approachable, be kind, so that they want to have that continuous mentorship time with you. And I mean, sometimes it's not a match. Knowing when it's not a match, so that we could still allow us to do some maneuvering so you can find a match. That nonverbal communication, kids are checking everything out. If you're sitting like this, or if you're like this, or if maybe you have your phone, right? So let that be time with them. We're all working individuals, like, put your phone away. You know, I had to do that mindfully, even with my own son, like, put away, this is their time, because we're always connected to something. Like, let that be your 30, 45, an hour of your time with that student. And respect those boundaries, right? So we'll talk about ways to have that communication. I would say if you were having those times like out of school, that you like will let us know, hey, they've asked me to go to a game or something like that's fine. I would shy away from having too much alone time, like taking them places and things like that. Let it be like public interactions. So you just don't want to compromise anything. Things happen. I wouldn't have people in your car, that sort of thing. So those boundaries and knowing when you need to like toe the line. Be a mom. You guys are moms. You're gonna be not be a friend. You're gonna be a mom, kind of like you are with your own children. I'm not your friend, but I am a mom. So I think you need to project just that same energy that you do with your own children, and then share your own personal stories. I think you all shared very intimate stories as to how you got here, things that you experienced. You know, let them know. Like I tell these little girls, like, my mama popped me in the mouth because I had a smart mouth. Like, you know, I get it. But as an adult, you can't have those level of interactions. I share those stories as much as I possibly can to make those connections. Okay. Many of you have already filled out the form. So what we'll do, we'll submit these to our community designee at the district level. Have that all turned in so it's official. When you come to the school, we'll give you a badge, like an MVP badge. We'll also get you t-shirts that you don't have to wear them every time. But I think the badge would just be sufficient so that you're easy to identify. And we'll have designated areas within the school that you can meet. And then every time we have these activities, we'll invite you all. Our first interaction will be another whole group and give you opportunity to branch out and get to know and have those conversations. But we're already going to meet with those young ladies to figure out what exactly they want to do. So even on that index card, if you just explain like your occupation and history, so that can be a match. And it may not be any one of those things, but we'll definitely try to find as close as a match as possible so that you have those similar experiences that they're hoping to get into. And some of them won't know. Like some of them may be freshman students who don't know what they actually want to be when they grow up. So we'll have some gray area to work with as well. And just exactly how much time you're wanting to devote to this process. I hope this video works. I actually show this to our teachers. Oh, yes. Or like a
Let's see where this one takes me. Experience more with hard to get tables.
I mean, Denzel and Michael B. Jordan, those are all coincidences, I promise.
Chase, make more than what's yours.
How do I know? A lot of people, when they think of the phrase, how do I know, they always want to put the what behind it. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The question that you really should ask is, how do I know why I'm here? Because when you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. If you know, like for instance, people know that I do comedy, but that's what I do. My why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. So I can do comedy, I can write books, I can be in a movie, because all of it is motivated by my why. In fact, I have a new web series out called Michael Jr. Break Time. We probably just did the 6th episode. It's on YouTube. So every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode on YouTube of Michael Jr. Break Time. What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm going to show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor. Can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Wow. That bro could sing, you know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Okay. Here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
So I'm hoping, and I know with great confidence, that you know what the purpose is, right? To be here, be a mentor. At the end, you are truly going to be able to answer that question, why? And it'll be everyone's graduation, right? I think that we have amazing programs here. We have outstanding teachers and academies that they haven't really tapped into because they just don't know what it's going to look like. They haven't committed. So through that experiences and your influence, I think we're going to help define not only your why, but also our young ladies. So I thank you all for being here, for joining us virtually. And the next week, I'll just be making contact with you all, given your information that you have provided, and starting to match you with our young ladies. I really want to get that started very quickly. All right, so thank you for your time. Thank you, Mr. Dawson.